Welcome to Right on Track, a songwriting podcast. Thanks to Tone for tuning in. I'm Demi Michelle Schwartz, and I'm thrilled you're joining me on my songwriting journey. So kick back and relax, don't fall flat, and remember, stay right on track. Hey everyone, welcome back to Right on Track. Joining me today from Sweden is Emma Svensson. Hey Emma.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I cannot wait to dive into our chat today all about appreciation and talk about your new single as well. But before we dive into all of that, can you share with the listeners a little about yourself and how you got started in music?
I grew up on a horse farm in Sweden, and when I was 10 years old, I realized that Johnny Cash was the coolest person in the world. So I remember that I was on a competition where I wanted to sing his song "Ring of Fire," and that was like the start of my country music career. Even though country music haven't been big in Sweden at all, it's growing right now, but it have been a a little interesting way to do music here. But I feel like it's close to our folk music. So I've been out playing and singing and writing songs. And when I was 19, I was tired of my little hometown, so I grabbed my guitar and I went over to Nashville. And I met some songwriters there and had the best time of my life. So I've been going back and forth 3 times before the pandemic come and stopped everything.
Awesome. So, when you decided you wanted to dive into songwriting and go to Nashville, was that a difficult journey for you, or were you just ready to dive in? How was that experience going from Sweden to Nashville?
Actually, I just broke up with a with the guy, so I was just so happy to do something else, and I haven't, I didn't do any like research before I went over, so I just booked an Airbnb, and the first day when I was there, I was like, okay, so what am I gonna do now? But I had some like I found some persons very quick, and I found a Swedish guitarist that lived there, so he helped me to like know where I could go and listen to music, and everyone was so friendly and familiar, and then they just let me into different places, and I got opportunities to do songwriters nights, and yeah, I had the best time, and I'm so lucky to meet people that I met, I guess.
Yeah, Nashville is such a great place. I've been there twice just for I went for a songwriting retreat in 2021, and then last year I went to the Josie Awards there. So I wasn't there for like a long period of time, but just like you said, everybody's so nice there. It's truly a music city, so I'm definitely hoping to go back there, and I hope you can go back soon as well.
Yeah, me too. Hope we're there at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'm very excited to dive into our chat today about appreciation. So, you have a great quote by Amelia Earhart. So, we read that?
Yeah. Okay, so it goes like this. The more one does and sees and feels, the more one is able to do. And the more genuine may be one's appreciation of fundamental things like home and love and understanding companionship.
So, why did you select this one?
I feel like it was like close to my heart because I'm a very like high sensitive person, and I always I feel a lot every time I talk to someone or every time I experience something. So yeah, sometimes it's hard to be that high sensitive because you feel all the bad things very much too. But I feel like I would never change that to anything because every like life experience changes you and learns you something, and you can, I don't know, just do the best you can after you've got this experience.
Absolutely. I love this quote as well because I think that the more you see, the more you do, the more you feel, that's just accumulating who you are as a person. And
Yeah,
I think that it's so important to be appreciative of all the good moments, but also appreciate the lessons you learn from the hard times because I truly think that it's the difficult times that can teach us more than the good times can. It's how we deal with those things, how we overcome things. And I think just being mindful of every experience that you have and seeing what you can take from that and look for the silver linings and just be appreciative of the important things in life. I think as songwriters and artists, chasing this dream, it can be very difficult at times, very overwhelming, but there are people that support us and we have great moments along the way. And when you focus on appreciating those things, it makes the other times easier to deal with because you know you'll always have people to go back to and you know that there are brighter days ahead and more opportunities to come. And so I think just being mindful and remembering to appreciate is really important.
Yeah, that's so true. And I feel like your whole life is you live in more if you experience more and feels more and sees more.
You know, we need to, as songwriters, be open to the world around us and allow ourselves to feel and experience things, or else what else will we write about?
Yeah, I feel like that's our superpower.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of songwriters, musicians, artists, like, we're so tied to our emotions and we are very
Yeah.
sensitive because people who don't like feel on such a deep level, like, you need to have that emotional connection with yourself and with the art of music in order to create. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But sometimes it's hard, you know, like if I get depressed, I get very depressed, and if I'm happy, I'm very happy.
Yeah.
And it could be hard to live with, but I wouldn't change that for anything because that's what makes me a songwriter. And like I feel like I could use that power a lot in my life and got closer to people.
Absolutely. So, as a songwriter and looking at the industry as a whole, I think that appreciation can go a very, very long way in terms of building connections and building your network and letting people know that you appreciate their support and giving you a platform and all of those things. So, what's coming to mind to you when you think about the importance of appreciation in the music industry?
I feel like if you are like an artist or a musician, you need to always go down to earth and show the people around you that you love them and you appreciate them. And I feel like Instagram is such a good platform for letting people know that you really appreciate them. And also like going out on gigs. That's my favorite part of it because I can see people in their eyes and tell them what I feel about them. Because every like small fans or people that is listening to you, they are the like the important most important thing about your career.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, you mentioned Instagram and also playing live. I think we can show appreciation both on social media and in person. And
Yeah,
I think that it's so important to let people know that you appreciate if they give you a platform or if they listen to your music because if you think about it, like there's so many radio stations, there's so many podcasts and blogs and things, and they're constantly covering artists and giving people a platform. And there are people like I host a podcast. I know there are people who afterward like didn't, you know, post their episode or like reach out and say thank you for having me or whatever, which is fine. Like I'm still gonna do this because I love to talk to other artists, but it's nice when those people who do reach out say, hey, like, thank you for having me on, or like share their episode. It just shows, like, hey, like, me giving somebody a platform, like, they really appreciate it. And I've become very empathetic of the people who give me a platform because they give so many artists their platform. And so being the one to stand out and send them an email afterward that takes, what, 2 seconds to say, hey, thank you for having me or whatever, I think it just sticks in their mind. And then down the road, like, those are the people they're going to remember. They're not going to remember the thousands of artists that didn't acknowledge that they supported them. They're going to remember the ones who reached out and made them feel like what they did was important.
yeah, that's so true. And I feel like if you're like rich, you can buy some comments and you can buy things, but you can never buy real heart and real love and real appreciation. And that's where like for me that's not rich. That's the that's what can make me like going further and take one step and next step. And for every person that that like appreciates me and I appreciate them. We like building something.
Absolutely. That's a really, really great point because I'm all about building genuine connections and just being friends with people. And like
Yeah,
there's artists who just focus on things that serve them and their career, which we're all looking to grow. But I think if you really put relationships first and genuine like appreciation and all of those things first, then you just come off as like a very authentic person, a very great person. And with so many artists trying to create their music and get careers, I think that you really stand out if you show that you genuinely love what you do and you really care about the people who are on this journey with you. Because I don't know about you, but everybody on my team and my family and my friends who support me, like they give me the motivation when I feel down. They encourage me when I'm like doubting myself. And I appreciate them so much because there are days, in the past, and I'm sure in the future, where I'll be like, I don't know if I need to, take a step back from music for a while, if things get overwhelming and start doubting myself. But there's always those people who are there to say, no, like, you got this, like, keep going, even during the hard times. And so being mindful and appreciating those people who truly stick by your side through thick and thin is so important.
yeah. I'm also so thankful for my family and my boyfriend and my friends that keeping pushing me to do it. Because sometimes it's hard to, I don't know, to be an artist and being someone who's always gonna be happy and in front of people. And yeah, then you really need someone when you get home that like give you a hug and tell you how good you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, completely. So talk a little more about your family and the people who support you and what that means to you as an artist.
Yeah, it means so much. I actually, when I was in Nashville, my last time, I've got a bite from a tick. So I've got Lyme disease, Borrelia, and I was so sick, and I've been sick for 2.5 years. I'm still a little sick, but I'm good. I can play, and I'm having a good life now. But it was so hard, and I don't know if I've survived it without my family, and I'm so thankful for them, because it was a crazy journey, and when something that crazy happens to you, you really realize which persons in your life that matter the most and stays there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being open about that. And, like you really bring up a good point with during the hard times, the people who are there, they're the ones that matter.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic too, like I found out who my real friends were. And like, like everybody, especially during lockdown, when we were all stuck in our houses, there were people who didn't even have time to talk on the phone or FaceTime. It's like, what else are you doing? You're literally in your room 24/7 doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think like during the pandemic for sure is when I started to realize the people who were there for the right reasons. And I grew more appreciative of them because I saw other people's true colors and then, cut them out of my life and made a lot of changes. But then I had the people who matter. And so I have a very healthy, supportive group of people around me. And I think that that's always great to have in the back of my mind that I have these people I could go to for anything.
Yeah, I feel like it's very important to choose the people around you, because it could be so many that is just there, and you never think about why they are there, or if you even like each other. So if like a pandemic or something happened, that's true that you really find out who's the real one and who's not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did see a quote on Twitter not too long ago that was something like choose the ones who choose you, which is really, really important. And you mentioned earlier, like, you appreciate the people in your life and they appreciate you. It's this constant mutual appreciation. And I think that with anything, any relationship, friendship, whatever, you need to put in 100% and have that mutual connection. And I think appreciation is a huge part of that. And especially with like the music industry and even in your own life, if you truly appreciate someone and you support them and you put in 110% for them and they don't reciprocate that, I mean, I start to pull back a little bit and question, why am I dedicating so much of my time with this person if they're not doing the same for me? So,
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of people who's hanging around with people that it's not really into them, and that wouldn't like go to the other side of the world and help them if they needed anything. Um, and I think it's okay to have that kind of friends, but maybe not as your closest. You still need
Right.
someone close that you
Mhm.
like. When I was sick and I was in hospital, I've called my best friend that I have had since I was 2 years old. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna be at the hospital for a while. Can you come with my computer? And she come with the computer and candies, and it was
Aw.
like I really realized that she has been here for my whole life, and she come back as like every time I call for her, and it's the same like the other way, and that's so beautiful.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Like, you're very lucky to have a friend like that. And, also, like, during that time, music, you spoke earlier how music is important to you and you were drawn to country. During that time, did you appreciate your connection with music? Did music help you through that as well?
I was from Sweden, and I was so bad in English when I got over to Nashville. So I couldn't really talk me through. I needed something more. So I feel like the music was the connection between our worlds. So it was like a big connection between the seas, and it's still like I'm having a sessions all over the world because of the music. That is like it's the same wherever you are. It's just music, and that's so beautiful that you can connect with people that you almost can't talk to, but you can find something because you understand the music, and that's so nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the heart of music is the emotion, and we all experience the same human emotions no matter where we are. And I think that finding connections through music and appreciating what music has to offer. Music has helped me through so many difficult times. And
Yeah,
that's why I even turned to songwriting in the first place because it became a tool for me to express myself and get things out. And so even though music isn't an actual like living person, like it's very much alive to me because it's always there, much like how the important people in my life are always there.
yeah, that's so nice.
So, yeah, so tell me a little about your songwriting process.
Yeah, so normally I used to come up with some melody, and I play the guitar. So I used to sit down with my guitar and try to find out something that feels nice. And often I have some quotes or like an emotion of what the song is about. So I try to do the melody that fits to my yeah to my thoughts. Uh, and like when I was younger, I used to write alone because I thought it was hard to open up and do it with someone. But after my Nashville trip, I found out that it's so much easier to do it together and put your brains together. And even though, like, if it's my song and I really know what I wanted to write, it's so much easier to do it with someone else and like find the good part together. So that's normally my way to do it, but it could change. Sometimes it's like me writing alone, or sometimes I'm meeting up with people, and sometimes I'm writing for others. So yeah. How about you?
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I love co-writing. It's awesome, but I write so much alone as well. And for me, I think like I'm very drawn to the storytelling and the imagery and the lyrics. So what I usually do is whenever I get an idea for a song or a concept, I do free writing or sensory free writing where I just dump a bunch of thoughts, feelings, images, emotions onto the page and kind of sort through that and see what resonates, if there's any, song title ideas in there, lyrical ideas. And I usually will have some kind of lyrical draft before I get into the music. There are times where I write lyrics and melody at the same time, but I'm also a creative writer as well. And so I feel like I'm very drawn to the words and making sure the words communicate what I want. And then I usually will take that and say, okay, from this lyrical draft or this concept I have, what emotion is attached to this? And then I will, compose a melody and determine how I want the song to sound that really captures the atmosphere and tone of what the message of the song is saying.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's so interesting that everyone does their own thing,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it always different
Yeah.
from each other.
Yeah, everyone's processes are so different, and I think it's really interesting because I'm always looking to grow, and every time I do, like, a co-write with someone who does something differently, it's just growing as a songwriter myself when I try out new things, so, yeah, it's really interesting learning everybody's processes.
Yeah, I think that's good too. Sometimes I'm like, "Oh, can you do that? That's so smart. I wanna try that."
Awesome. Well, tell me about your new single, "Runs in the Family."
Yeah, I'm so happy for this one. I feel like I have written a lot of songs, but I haven't done anyone for my family, and that's weird because they they should have one from the start. Uh, Because my family have always been like my parents have driven me around on every gig, and I didn't have any sound engineer when I was young, so my dad took like a class and learned how to do the sound, and my mother tried to be like little managers. So they have really supported me a lot. Um, and after this sickness time and everything that was going around, I feel like okay, this is the moment I really need to get them a song. Um, so yeah, so I did this one on a camp, and I told the ones that I rode with about my trips to the mountains when I was young, because we always went out skiing, and we were like we are three kids in my family, so it was very like packed in the back seat of the Volvo. So I wanted it to really show that. So the lyrics is very it's easy, but it's like painting the experience. Um, yeah, so I'm so excited, and it is banjo and violins and steel guitar and harmonies, and there is a lot of country in it. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And something I love so much about this song is number one, it's authentic to you, right? Like, this is like based on your personal experience. And two, like, you're writing about something that, talking about family and things is common in country songs, but the way you're doing it is so different, And I think
Oh, nice, thank
yeah,
you.
of course. Yeah, like as songwriters, like I think it's always important to tap into like our personal experiences, which you did with this song to make it stand out instead of, writing about the same things that so many other people write about because your experience is your experience and you definitely did that with the song. And I love the production. The instrumentation's fantastic.
Nice. I'm so happy.
Yeah. So what do you think your favorite lyric from the song is?
Actually, I think it is packed like sardines in the Volvo.
Aw.
Because when it's really how it was. I remember like when I was sitting there with my siblings, and we tried to draw a line between us because it was so packed.
Perfect.
So yeah, that's my favorite part.
That's awesome. So, what do you think your biggest challenge was, either while writing or recording this song?
I feel like it was hard to find the right tempo at the first, like how fast the song should be.
Okay.
Because when I played it with my acoustic guitar, I played it very fast, and the producer he was like, "No, Emma, we should do it like a bit chill and nice." And I didn't understand what he meant until he played some other instruments and put it together, and I was like, "Hell yeah, this is the song!" So that was a bit confusing at first, but I'm so happy how it turned out.
That's so interesting. I think little things like the tempo or the key can be like overlooked so much. And that's something that I've been way more aware of. Like, I am recording a song currently called Kind Heart, and it was originally in C. And then my vocal coach was like, well, why don't you try it in different keys? Like, maybe try like D flat or D or whatever. And I ended up picking D. And I actually tweaked the tempo a little bit on that song too, and so I think that so much can be said about a song just from like what key it's in or the tempo. So that's really interesting.
But yeah, I feel like sometimes it's hard to kill your darlings or how
Yeah.
to say, because you like you feel like you know the best version of it, and then someone else says something else, and then you realize that they were right.
Yeah.
But at first, it's always so hard to kill those darlings.
For sure. So, if listeners can take one thing away from this song, what do you hope that is?
I want them to like listen to this song in the car with their family, because that is the vibe that I got from it. So I really hope that people having a good time and sitting talking with their family and plays it.
Perfect. So, a couple more questions to wrap things up. What is some advice that you would give to any songwriter who may be struggling to chase their dreams?
Keep on doing what you do, and do what feels good in your stomach, because there is so many like you can take so many different ways and still do it. So always follow your heart, and listen to people that feels kind, and not the people that want you to pay them money or anything.
Perfect. Lovely. So, just to wrap up things from the appreciation chat, what are some final thoughts you would like to share about the importance of showing appreciation?
Um, I feel like if you got an opportunity to say thank you to someone, you should do it, and you should do it often, because you never know how long they will be there. And I feel like sometimes it's hard to just say easy thank you. So yeah, I think that's the part.
That's perfect. Well, Emma, it was lovely having you on the show. Please share with everyone where they can find you on social media and check out your music.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Oh, okay, that was a bad end. We should do that end again. Yeah, listen to me on Spotify and Instagram with Emma Svensson Music, and also my webpage, emmasvenssonmusic.net.
Perfect. Well, Emma, thank you so much for joining me for this awesome conversation all about appreciation. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed this episode with Emma Svensson. And of course, until next time,
Stay
stay right
right
on
on
track.
track.